Welcome back to the LEC. It is time for Game 2 between Schalke, No Fear, and Fnatic. Schalke are in an unprecedented position. For the first time in their history, they are up a game in Game 1 versus Fnatic in a best-of-5. It is going to be a wild ride. Cannot wait to see how it unfolds. And Caedrel, the big question on both of our minds as we get closer and closer to Champion Select is how do Fnatic adapt?
Well, they've chosen red side again, which I think is crucial, but the only problem that I don't like, the only thing I didn't like about their draft was they drafted TF, very low damage like you highlighted, more of a utility champion, and then they last pick a Lulu. So the TF only really has one lane to play towards, which makes it really difficult for TF because neither of them can match side lanes. And yes, they found picks on sides, but I feel like he needs to control these side lanes more. Push them out and group mid like Schalke did. Try to collapse first.
And reminder, this is an elimination game. The winner of this best-of-5 will move on. Loser will be knocked out. It is do or die. Will Schalke make it to match point, or can Fnatic bring us back to 1-1?
Groovy.
Grooving in to Game 2 Champion Select here, and of course, expectation is for changes in the draft. Fnatic remain on red side, their choice this time around. We will see how they adapt, but inevitably the person that we have to cast our eyes towards is the man who's on your screen just moments ago, none other than Gilius. The Hecarim's going to be banned away. Will they take more of his picks off the table?
That's key. Will they take away the Udyr as well? Because I feel like Gilius, like we said before, 10 games in a row, now 11, of just Hecarim Udyr, barring one card this game. So do you just take him off comfort? I think Gilius had a fantastic early game, right? And Fnatic's plan was kind of obvious going into the game. First rotate TF, take away Rell, ban away Alistar, so deny Limit, but Limit had success on Leona. Then they got a counter pick top, which really didn't feel like a counter pick to the point where you're winning the matchup and you're actually being able to push out your lane and move and start controlling top side after that top TV2 did go in their favor. But even still, they got the Herald top. Schalke was snowballing the game, so they've adapted. This is what I wanted to see. I want to see two jungle bans deny Gilius counter pick. What does Schalke opt towards? They want to first pick the Rell.
And it's crazy because he just has not played another champion on stage forever. But there's the third pick that we've been waiting to see, the third jungler in the tier list. It is the Volibear. This champion has been making massive early game impact across all three series last week. Xayah, the clear standout on the pick. We'll have to see how Gilius can work with this one. And I think the good news for Schalke is this is the last remaining champ that we have seen in the meta that I think fits the play style that Gilius likes to play to.
Yeah, definitely. And like you highlighted, Xayah had lots of success on it, but the key thing is Selfmade had lots of success on it as well. So they've denied the Volibear, and that's the playmaking champ. The only things left open now are kind of like the Nidalee Lilia Olafs. And now Olaf does do well into Volibear. Historically, it was almost like an Olaf Trundle Volibear set meta last year. So I have to see if some of those champs are brought back. But the Kai'Sa Rell first rotation from Fnatic, making sure they solidify that Kai'Sa pick, which Schalke denied from them last game, with the Rell. Really strong bot lane already to get the engages going. Good response from Schalke again, like we saw Fnatic do. Pick up the Xayah into the Kai'Sa. It's a good response. We'll have to see what Schalke want to pick up here. Do they want to match support, which I would expect, or do they want to pick a solo laner? As we can see, a Jace hover, which would be very risky. So the Gragas, I'm guessing, is going towards the bot lane. I really like Schalke's draft so far.
Yeah, like to see the Gragas overall. Obviously can body slam to interrupt a lot of the engages that Rell will try to go for. That said, Rell Kai'Sa, incredibly powerful combination. The combination of the stun from the Rell with the Kai'Sa dive into the backline is lethal for anyone who does not have enough health to survive that initial burst. That said, Fnatic again going towards the Twisted Fate. And again, we have a bot lane that they are set up to play around. The question is, as we round out this draft, will there be a topside and jungler that the TF can support as well?
Yeah, Selfmade went into the 4-5 before and he picked the Olaf with the TF. Things like the Nidalee work as well, but we have to see what Schalke ban away. So the Olaf's already banned away, good adaptation there. It's good into Volibear, it's good into Gragas. You can run past this front line. If not, you can melt them with things like the Conqueror in their face, the Gore Drinker into melee champs. It's just very powerful, so I like that ban away. I wouldn't be surprised to see them invest into another jungle ban, something like the Nidalee, to deny the best junglers from Selfmade. But I also think investing in counter-pick top bans could be good as well, because they're going to pick jungle on 4 no matter what. And I want to see Bwipo pick something aggressive. You've got the tools for it. You've got a Rell, you've got a Kai'Sa, you've got a TF. You don't need to play something supportive. Yes, a tank could be fine, but I feel like a split pusher could be crucial to get Fnatic's comp ahead.
But I like that we're seeing the Sylas and the Ryze band away, two champions who can do pretty well into the TF. We saw the Ryze in the hands of Rookie, of course, in the LPL, had a pretty stellar performance on the pick overall. So Good to see the adaptation here. The question is, what's the final ban going to be? Another pick that I want to highlight is the Graves. Now, I don't particularly love Graves in the current meta, but historically very strong with the TF. You're actually the one who talks to me about it all the time, about how good, how powerful that duo can be.
Yeah.
And Schalke don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, TF Graves is very powerful 2v2. Graves fallen off a little bit, doesn't do well into the AP junglers and doesn't have much engage. So that's why jungle is like this speedy, right? They're too fast for Graves to catch up to, but that's a Lee-Sin from Selfmade. Oh, man.
All right, if you're wondering why we're confused, it's because this champion doesn't exist. It looks like you can pick him in Champ Select, but if you want to win the game, you cannot. So something must have changed. There must be some secret tech or some big surge of confidence for Selfmade, because this champion has not existed in League of Legends for what feels like a year.
And the reason is the item changes. The champion got buffs recently on its Q, but the item changes hurt Lee-Sin so much. The best 3 stats for Lee-Sin are health, CDR, and AD. And you can't really find that in the current build. You go for things like the Prowler's Claw, but then you're squishy. You go things like the Gore Drinker, but then you lack the CDR and the damage. So Black Cleaver, Warrior, Red Smite, these were the best items on Lee-Sin because he gave him the 3 best stats. But the item changes kind of took him out of the meta with all these junglers going chem tank and just running at him. He couldn't actually fight them back. So that's why Lee-Sin has fallen out. Fnatic have opted to pick into it now with the TF, which is good. It has good setup already. But I really like the response from Schalke. They're almost running back their drafts from last game, just changing the champs. It's the same core fundamental composition, barring a little bit of side lane pressure. Instead, you have a Viktor instead of a Sylas. But the key points are there. You have the engage, you have the GP ult. Let's get in there. But I love Fnatic's counter pick. Cho'Gath into GP. It's a really good answer. It gives you some frontline. And I feel like the TF can just be facilitated by the Lee-Sin in this game because it has a lot more playmaking than the Olaf.
Every single lane has set up CC for Fnatic. Very easy for them to play anywhere on the map for the Lee-Sin, for the TF to move to any lane as well. That said, Schalke's composition, again, we're in a similar position to where we were previously. If Schalke get in a position where Fnatic are forced to fight into them, the GP is ludicrously powerful. The Viktor is the same case. The Xayah, the same case. You walk into any of those 3 champions, you will find yourself one shot very quickly. And their early game, again, facilitated by this Gragas from Limit, facilitated by the Volibear from Gilius.
Yeah, and what I like to do is I like to simulate team fights on compositions, right? Imagine you're Fnatic and you're trying to get onto Schalke. They have the GP ult, they have a Viktor ult, Gragas ult, the Xayah pullback. There's so many things you have to look out for, whereas Fnatic have a lot of single target damage, but they have a lot of engage. And I feel like if Cho'Gath gets ahead against the GP, that'll be crucial in the side lane, and I feel like they can start to get the control first. And if Fnatic get control first and you're walking into a Feral Scream, a knock-up from Cho'Gath, a Rell in a bush, a TF ult from Rapid Fire Cannon, or anything like this, it's going to be really difficult for Schalke to regain control. So this game is all about vision control.
Vision control, fight is 5 if you're on the side of Schalke, divide and conquer if you are on the side of Fnatic. We're gonna have to see how the early game unfolds though, because last game, massive early game leads for Schalke. Single outplay moments in mid lane skirmishes are what defined their early pace of the game. Can they do the same thing here against Fnatic in game 2? We're gonna find out. Game 2, pressure on for both sides. Remember, Schalke currently up 1 win. If they make it to match point, that's an immense pressure on Fnatic. That said,
Hylissang gonna jump over, but Limit spotted him. He just spotted him. This could be really, really dangerous for Fnatic. Look at Schalke. They're all collapsing. They know Hylissang's here, but Hylissang doesn't know that they know he's here. We'll have to see if he gets caught out of there. I think he's dead.
Hylissang can start to walk away, though. The rest of the team ready to collapse. Are they just going to give him up? He remounts, gets a bit of a movement speed steroid.
The whole team's here.
Dash back in, but is it Limit who's overstayed?
I feel like Schalke could have just played that slower, right? Wait for more members and collapse on him faster, and then look for the play itself. But it looks like Limit's the one who's going to have to burn the flash, and I love Limit's summoner spells. He's gone for the exhaust instead of the ignite, and that's for the Lee-Sin. That's for the Lee-Sin looking for your backline. And talking about Lee-Sin, we've talked about the items. He's running Conqueror here, and I feel like Lee-Sin, you can run Electrocute, which means you're going full lethality, or Conqueror, which means you're going more tanky. Things like the Gore Drinker. So we'll have to see what Selfmade builds towards this game, because the items really don't facilitate Lee-Sin very, very well.
And in general, if you're a Lee-Sin player, you know as well as anyone, there are moments in any game where you can make the massive highlight plays, where you can turn things around. And of course, the kick is something we're going to keep our eye on, but for now, in the early game, we're just going to see who can clear faster, who can find the setups for gank. So now, Bwipo is going to opt to leash for his jungler. We're going to get a similar effect coming in for Neon. Could give Fnatic a bit of an edge here in the bot lane, or would if Hylissang was in the area. So Neon and Limit going to be pretty comfortable just to walk into the lane here, especially once they spot Hylissang there, and not, of course, hiding in the Octagon bush, as you like to call it.
The Octagon bush. Upset's already in it, trying to control the wave, and that means you can get the push. I really love that name. I really love that it can give you that extra vision, extra push in bot side, because the enemy support can't really afford to face check or step up, and if they ward the bush, you can just kill it. So what I want to keep my eye on is the junglers. The reason Lee Sin also fell off, not only is it items, not only is it the runes, but it's also the clear speed. Lee Sin's clear speed is very slow compared to things like Hecarim, Lilia, Nidalee. You basically finish 4 camps by the time the enemy team is full cleared, right? So Volibear, he won't get punished as much, but you can already see the difference, right? He's finishing his Krugs, Volibear's already onto his Raptors. So Lee Sin's clear is quite slow compared to the meta junglers, which is also another reason why this champ fell off. But like you said, you can find the kicks, you can find the highlight flashy plays, which I think, if I think of last year, Shadow was the one that stands out to me to find these plays. So I have to see how Selfmade adapts as the game progresses.
And how much has he actually been practicing this champion is the other question. I don't know, because it doesn't... I haven't seen it a lot in high elo solo queue. I don't see it in a lot of high elo streams. I can't imagine it's being seen in scrims either, but that said, maybe this is something special Selfmade has been preparing and has a unique idea on how to approach it or what to get done. But as you're talking about the jungle, I think it's also important that we look at the mid lane, because while Nisqy has certainly had his standout moments in the previous series, Abbedagge was kind of quiet because he was playing against Caps, but exploded onto the Rift in game 1. The man, you know, outplayed in that mid lane skirmish. Does he have the tools to do it again, though, on a champion like the Viktor? Yeah, we'll have to see. He doesn't have much outplay potential on the Viktor, but this play in mid basically decided the early game for Schalke, and Gilius being there decided the factor. And Gilius is on a champion, which is very proactive. Hang on, Bwipo's getting a lot of damage here. He might have to flash away if BrokenBlade can get the Q. Okay. Not quite enough damage.
Yeah.
Pot just ticking.
Yeah, and just going back to my point, Gilius was the factor. He was there for the play. He was there for the counter gank, to counter gank Selfmade's play. And Gilius, to me, in that early game, was the defining factor for Schalke, counter-ganking mid, getting the Herald, snowballing the game, even when his top lane was getting pushed in. And we'll have to see what he does this game, because I feel like his early games against G2 as well were quite strong. He's on his top side here. If he looks for the flash, I think Bwipo's dead. Flash auto, easy follow-up, first blood, Schalke logo, flash it up, and Gilius already off to an excellent start. Yeah, great play, and we talked about Gilius, we talked about Volibear as well. This champ, level 3, level 4, is so oppressive. It's so hard to actually play against it. One flash Q into the E, it's so much burst damage, and you could see it there the second that Bwipo was even close to that bush. I even expected this flash coming in. Yes, Bwipo didn't have vision, but he does get caught out, he does get taken down. And again, this is what happened last game. The gank in mid, or the play in mid, nets a TP advantage. We saw Nisqy get it last time, but now, BrokenBlade, as I say that, TP's back to lane, wants to keep pressuring the lane, has a Sheen, wants to keep pushing in. Even though this wave was good for BrokenBlade, he wants to get back in the lane to stop Bwipo from being able to crash in his tower and just trade into his face. And I want to go back to what you said earlier about jungle clear speed, because in the time that Gilius went, cleared the same amount of camps as Selfmade, got that gank off, and reset at about the same time. Selfmade has maybe a 2-3 second lead. You can see them both racing to Krugs right now. Yep. So already clear speed alone has given Gilius such an edge when it comes to time to make plays. Yeah, so Lee Sin will always naturally fall behind by the exponential clear of the enemy jungler if it's a meta jungler, right? Volibear doesn't punish as much. He isn't as fast as things like the Hecarim Lilia. But as the game goes on, Lee Sin will fall further and further behind unless he can find plays. And Lee Sin is a great champ to find plays. But the problem is, when you have things like the pickaxe, one stun and you're just dead. As Hylissang tries to cancel Neon's base again, and we saw that last game. Exact same minute, I think, in the game, where Hylissang gets caught out and dies, but doesn't happen this time. And we'll have to, yeah, keep our eyes on the jungle. And again, I think what's interesting to see always is if Fnatic can temper their aggression, as we see Hylissang going on the bottom, but we quickly pan away, is because Fnatic we've known, and we've heard from their players now too, confirming this. They know when they want to fight. They don't know when they want to stop. And it shows a lot because, you know, 1.0 KD is like, you know, it's like all right if we're playing COD, but it's not a great look if you're playing League of Legends. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be going 1-for-1 in every play. As now we see a bit of a fight in the mid lane. Abbedagge is going to be marked up, but a clean gravity field stops that play in its tracks. And so far, Fnatic has yet to find the kill, though already now we're getting the fight kicked off. That's going to be the follow-up stun coming in from the Rell. Neon forced away for now. 5th stack will not proc on a Neon, though. Selfmade returning to the bottom lane. They know Gilius is pathing down. It looks like Nisqy will spot him out. Nisqy has the ultimate, though, so he can join this fight whenever. It looks like he'll be around for the fight. He has the boots to collapse fast, but he has the ult as well. Gilius covered the mid play. Now he's covering the bot play. Really, really good reads from Gilius in this early game. Hovering towards the bot side. Hylissang can get caught out here. He has no flash. Looks like Gilius is not going to opt into it. Scared of the mid jungle. And again, Gilius is where he needs to be. It's good news overall. Of course, his top side camps are up, so we expect him to back and reset. But the fact that he stops that dive from happening certainly has to feel good for Schalke. Yeah, good aggression from Fnatic's bot lane. Trading 2 summoners on Hylissang for 3 summoners on the side of Schalke. So Neon having no flash. We'll see if they can punish it later on. But going back to your point about Fnatic, even Upset said on PGL, I believe, Vedios was asking him a question, do you guys feel like you're going over aggressive sometimes? Why does this happen? And he wish he knew as well. So we'll have to see how Fnatic do temper the aggression as Selfmade picks up the first dragon of the game like he did last game. And I think the crucial thing as well is when Fnatic goes for these side lane plays, there's a Gangplank ultimate that they have to face as well. Not only is it Gilius covering the play, but there's also going to be a GP ult. So it gets very complicated when you look for those dives, and that's why Fnatic backed off.
Giving a lot of respect to that global. Of course, we'll see if Bwipo can continue to scale up and be the kind of big front line that his team needs to be, how this lane matchup works out as we get later and later into the game. But for now, it is smooth sailing for Schalke. Fnatic, we said, you know, they got the TFL. We're going to have to see what kind of cross-map plays they can make, especially with the early game powerhouse that is the Lee Sin. But that said, I feel like the longer this game goes on, the less blood that there is just has to favor Schalke. Yeah,
most definitely. When you've got things like Viktor into TF, the more you can scale and the less plays TF can get off and the Lee Sin can get off, the happier you are, right? If this scoreline continues until 20-25 minutes, I think Schalke is just favored to win, right? GP, Viktor, Xayah, how does Lee Sin TF find these plays? But Selfmade getting kind of aggressive here. I don't think Gilius spotted him out, but if Gilius face checks this, there could be a TF ult coming in, but looks like Gilius is running straight past. Selfmade has spotted Gilius moving bot side, so Nisqy could be ready to counter this play if Selfmade collapses. Abbedagge doesn't have TP, and there's a GP ult on Schalke. They might overextend here, but Gilius is looking for it.
Kick could be big. Neon only level 5. There are tools to interrupt the Lee Sin.
Nisqy.
It's going to come down to execution, though. Nisqy on the way in, but they're not thinking about the Lee Sin because they don't know that he's there. Selfmade leaping in. He's going to get the kickback onto Neon. Neon now level 6. I mean, this fight is all in favor of Fnatic. That's the kill traded back that Fnatic were waiting for.
Such a good read by Fnatic with the information. You can see Schalke trying to crash the bot wave, but Fnatic punish it. But there's a 1v1 in top. Bwipo has the flash and the feast, but BrokenBlade
autoing, getting level 7. Good bit of damage now traded back. Bwipo feast up and available, but he's just getting cut down by the minions.
One more
pistol shot. BrokenBlade just taking his time here. Bwipo healing up off the minions. The flash out to safety. BrokenBlade doesn't want to overcommit because he knows if he goes on that bush when Bwipo has combo up, he will get one shot. So both sides backing away. That said, flash advantage to BrokenBlade straight up.
Yeah, really well played from BrokenBlade, using that early gank advantage with the Sheen to start pressuring Bwipo. And you can see how well BrokenBlade played that. He dodged the Qs, he didn't overcommit into Bwipo, he didn't actually risk getting killed by the feast. He just kept his range, kept his pistol shots. And all these plays are coming from waves, right? Bwipo's trying to crash top wave, BrokenBlade goes aggressive. Schalke trying to get aggressive onto Nisqy here with a big wave in mid. And then again, Neon wants to crash bot wave, Fnatic get aggressive. Bwipo,
knock up. Good potential damage coming in. Silence, one more auto, E, empower, BrokenBlade flash out to safety. Bwipo can't flash because he does not have it, but it does mean that he at least evens up the summoner spells. His Selfmade and Hylissang might be on the hunt here.
Yeah, it looks like Hylissang base and ran topside, but Limit has done the same thing. Both jungle supports are here. Bwipo's out of mana, out of HP, so I think this is going to be a 2v2.
Level 6 to level 5.
Abbedagge can move first as well. Doesn't have the TP, Nisqy doesn't have the ult either, so both kind of staring each other down. And I think the reason they're doing this is because they want to contest his Herald. You could see Schalke last game getting the Herald cracked open mid tower at like 10 minutes in the game. And then from there, Fnatic couldn't play the side lanes, but Gilius might know that Bwipo's here. He has the flash as well. Bwipo could die.
Stop the backs. Ultimate is available as well for Gilius. He can leap in if he needs to. Shut down that tower. Good damage now coming in, but he can't finish it off. Limit, however, can. Cask from downtown finishes the job. The body slam to stop Selfmade in his tracks. No follow-up there on the Sonic Wave. No energy left for Selfmade. His ult not off cooldown either, but Hylissang wants to keep it going. He knows if they wait, if that Lee Sin ult comes back up, maybe they can turn it because Nisqy is here too, but it's the Gangplank off to the side. Gold card goes in. Gilius, will he go down? That's the follow-up. Selfmade trading his life, but it's still not working out too well for Fnatic. Selfmade! I can't believe it. He gets the kill. BrokenBlade will fire back, but it is still Schalke winning. The BM emote, the fist bump as he hands off the kill to Abbedagge.
It's an absolute disaster for Fnatic. Yes, Selfmade managed to find the kills. He managed to find the double to save the play. Hang on here. Upset might go aggressive onto Neon.
Waiting for the ultimate. The flash out to safety. Upset can't push any more forward because he sees the feathers can be pulled back.
Yep. And as well as Selfmade played that top fight, you could see the difference in raw strength. Schalke's jungle support just so much stronger than the Lee Sin. Rell managed to kick down Bwipo. We're winning the 2v2, and Nisqy dropped to mid wave. That's why he's down so much CS to get to top first. Look at the minimap. You can see he cancels his recall and starts running top, ignores mid wave. But let's look at this fight. Gilius knows he's there from the ward in the bush, knowing Bwipo's recalling there. The E misses, which is crucial. I think he could have just killed Bwipo straight up, but he does end up picking him up on the backside because of Limit's ultimate. Now, 2v2, and Schalke's support jungle don't have ultimates. And you can just see the difference in strength, right? Lee Sin can't find the damage. He can't find anything onto these two frontliners of Fnatic. And Nisqy gets here first. Great, but so is BrokenBlade. Abbedagge is matching the play. Look at mid-wave. Nisqy's losing waves for this. Selfmade picks up the kills alongside Nisqy. But Schalke gets 4 kills in total for this, and Fnatic lose mid-wave.
And again, we're in a situation where the fight starts as a positive, little bit of a punish from Fnatic, but it overstays for too long. As you said, Abbedagge has time to push in the mid wave and then roam top to match the TF. And you look at the gold, Nisqy's doing all right. He's going to be helped out by the Twisted Fate passive, but he's neck and neck with Abbedagge, and BrokenBlade is pulling so far ahead of Bwipo. Look at the distance between the Cho'Gath and the GP right now.
Yeah, so far ahead, similar to last game. These counter picks into GP just aren't working for Fnatic. Hang on, Neon might be getting caught out. The TF ult's coming in. He has no flash, no ultimate.
No ultimate. It's going to be an easy pickup, easy finish there as Nisqy is able to grab that kill. Fnatic now poised to take down this bottom tower. Looks like a cannon wave coming in as well.
Yeah, great kill for Fnatic. Wow, you've got 4 members against 1, but look what's going to happen again. Schalke's going to herald mid. You're going to lose your mid tower for this TF play. The TF is making picks on sides, but every single time Fnatic look for these side lane plays, they lose way too much on opposite sides.
And again, we're in a position where the only thing Fnatic are really successfully able to trade back is a kill here and there and the dragons, and that might add up more as we look forward. It could be a cloud, it could be an ocean, but for now the gold is all in favor of Schalke. That's almost 3K in their favor.
Yeah, the game's looking so similar to game 1. Fnatic picking up 2 early drakes, playing hard towards bot side, but Schalke just kind of ignoring bot a little bit and playing mid-top side, getting their solo lanes ahead. And the solo lanes of Schalke dictated the last game with the push. This blind pick Gangplank is working out so well for BrokenBlade.
And I think we have to highlight BrokenBlade because, again, 2 times in a row on blue side, he has blind pick his top laner. Both times it has been GP, both times Bwipo has had an answer. It's been the Lulu and it's been the Cho'Gath, yet every single time BrokenBlade has come out on top. Look at that forward percentage. This man is not afraid to push. We saw it on the Darius last weekend. That was when he got the counter pick. That's what he could do. But even now, when he is blind picking his champion, he is still coming out on top.
Yeah, I think of 3 key things when I think of BrokenBlade. I think of counter pick, I think of split push, and I think of carry. And those are the 3 things that he's picking in this series, in the last series as well, with Darius. And we'll have to see how this game progresses. BrokenBlade being denied a little bit on the split map. You can see Fnatic hitting bot tower, Schalke hitting top tower. Good play from Fnatic to identify their strong side. Let's split the map. But in general, just look at mid lane. Mid tier 2 is almost down. Mid tier 1 is down. Abbedagge will always push these waves first, so no matter what, Schalke's counter picks into this TF. Every time Nisqy goes to a side, Abbedagge is just getting further and further ahead. 30 CS up, he's got a kill, and he's got tower already.
And when we talked to the Fnatic players, when we talked to Upset, we heard him say afterwards, the reason he got to shine is because his teammates opted to step back. Bwipo opted to soak the pressure. They put him in a position to carry. This series, it does not feel like that is a conscious choice. That is a reality of the early game because the only person who is benefiting overall on this team is Upset. Nearly a 30 CS lead over Neon, but as you said, instantly balanced out by the massive GP on the top side, by the 25 CS in the mid lane for Abbedagge and the 2 towers in their favor as well.
I think the key thing, the one that unlocks all of this for Schalke is Gilius, right? Last game, 2 levels up on the Udyr into Olaf. He got, yeah, I'd say counter-picked in a sense, wasn't really counter-picked, but it does well into the Udyr. It shouldn't fall that far behind. Again, the Volibear, he's not so much ahead in XP, he's a little bit behind in farm, but he's part of every single kill in this game. He's the one setting up the plays for Schalke, and he is playing fantastically this series.
And we're in a position now where if you're Fnatic and you lose this game, we head into the next pick and ban, and I'm wondering if you're triple banning Gilius, if you're taking away this Volibear, the Hecarim, and the Udyr, just to see if you can force him off something comfortable, because 0-1-5 is an excellent scoreline. It looks like it's about to get better. Hylissang now going to leap out to safety, but Bwipo going to go for the follow-up, backing off as he sees Upset in the area. Abbedagge with a bit more damage. GP ult, going to try to finish the job. Hylissang getting the knockback, though. Blast Cone is big. How much time until he mans up? Oh, no. Cloud Rift not doing him any favors. Abbedagge just running him down.
Yeah, another kill for Abbedagge on this Viktor. He's going to be so massive in the mid game. 2 kills already and the mid tower, like we said, and the CS lead. So Hylissang getting caught out there. Good punish from Schalke. What can Fnatic get on the opposite side of the map? Because BrokenBlade was moving down, Selfmade's hovering top side. Bwipo's hitting onto this top tower. Can Selfmade deny BrokenBlade these waves? Look at Fnatic, all their members moving towards the top side. They're hovering around. They know they want to look for a dive if someone shows there. But in the end, it looks like they're just going to contest mid wave.
BrokenBlade taking his time moving back in here. He doesn't have vision to approach this one.
He's respecting it so well. They're warding the Grom, trying to find Selfmade. He knows if he steps up here, he might get dove, but it looks like he's stepping up anyway. This could be dangerous.
Selfmade can go for the kickback. They can just layer the CC together, but they're taking the time on this one. And Bwipo's tanking tower shots in the meantime. Bwipo's going to go down here. The last tower shot goes in. BrokenBlade is still alive. My God, it's happening again. No, Selfmade manages to turn it, but there's limit for the punish.
Every single play you do, limit will always be there. It looks like Fnatic are cross-mapping bot, though.
Abbedagge working with the space that he has. He's on his territory. He needs to get out of this one. Hylissang's on the way in. Gold card goes in. The flash forward. Upset now flashing in as well, but Abbedagge makes it out!
Yeah, Upset didn't have vision with the Q. I think it went to the creeps instead of him because of the vision. And Fnatic are making 2 plays at once, but they lose out on both sides. Neon getting mid-tower on top of everything.
And Caedrel. Schalke were outpacing Fnatic in the early game, but now Fnatic are fumbling in the execution, and we saw this in Week 8. We thought this was a product of some illness on the teammates' side. We thought that when the team was all better, when they had more time to prepare, that this would not happen again. But now we are seeing these same fumbles. Bwipo was taking tower aggro a year before anyone was in range to do damage. He's going to start before anything even is going down onto BrokenBlade.
Yeah, let's look at this again. So, Bwipo has tower aggro right now, and BrokenBlade flashes away from the Lee Sin Q, which is crucial because he stays alive for much longer. The second Q comes up eventually when Selfmade dashes out, but he's still tanking the tower. And every play, Enemy team makes limits, always there to respond. I absolutely love it. But then Fnatic look for a play bot as well. So they're making a play top, they're making a play bot, but every single play, Schalke are ahead. They can always collapse first. And I want to see how Upset's Q goes here, because I think he doesn't have vision here because the ward gets cancelled. Okay, this looks like his Q was late because Abbedagge flashed away. But in the end, Schalke also got mid-tier 2 for that. So look how much control Schalke have of the map. No mid-tier 2 at 16 minutes into the game. Contesting Dragons is going to be so difficult when mid-wave's pushed in, as Hylissang's trying to contest some vision here. Limit and Gilius already around to respond. The 3-man unit of Schalke will start to push in, and they will start to get some vision around this this third dragon for Fnatic. We saw it again. Cloud Soul again. This game feels like just a deja vu from last game.
Rinse and repeat. Schalke are certainly happy for it. Able to find impact again in the early game through Gilius, this time the Volibear, not needing the Udyr and Hecarim 2 picks that he's been so comfortable on. And Fnatic,
they want to fight this.
And I feel like they might have to. The longer this game goes, we talked about it, it certainly does not go in their favor. Nisqy going over the wall, though.
Okay, his stun card will run out by the time the engage happens. So the stun card comes in. Here comes Gilius.
Bwipo can try to deny this one. The knockup can come through, but Gilius with the sidestep there. Bwipo's already gone. Gilius in the pit all on his lonesome. 3K on the Dragon. Hylissang desperately trying to turn it. Upset on the outside, but nothing is happening. Selfmade wants to get anything done, but the CC is there. Schalke are slaughtering Fnatic. They burned their TP. They wanted that fight, and Schalke gave it to them.
We talked about Schalke's draft in fights. They have Viktor ult, they have the Gragas ult, they have the GP ult. There was so much zone control that Fnatic just couldn't find the engage. And on top of that, to make things worse, Nisqy's gold card was used and timed out just as Schalke engaged. They couldn't stop Gilius. Bwipo gets taken down. As we look at it again, Nisqy's repositioning was just questionable because his whole team's gone through the funnel and then he's behind with a gold card locked in. Wait, we're going back to live. Upset might get caught.
One shot. All too easy. Upset trying to dash out to safety, but doesn't have enough to go invisible yet. So BrokenBlade just going to run him down. One more pistol shot to finish the job. No, can't quite do it. Movement speed does work out for Upset in the end. Gale Force takes him to safety.
Yeah, Upset does manage to live there. Didn't really have a lot to work with. Only had the ultimate, but does manage to survive Limit. Didn't have much mana. You could have used the exhaust perhaps to actually slow down Upset to get the kill, but wasn't in range after Upset was able to get away from the initial CC. But BrokenBlade on this GP. 5-1-5, 11 kills for Schalke. This GP is going to be so hard to deal with. I feel like everything Schalke have thrown at Fnatic don't have responses. They don't have a response to this blind pick GP. The TF's not doing enough. I think Schalke just has a good response to that. And then the Kai'Sa, as successful it was for Schalke, Schalke's Xayah response is working better than Fnatic's.
And Caedrel, again, divided desk on the predictions. Thought it could go either way. Me and you, 50-50 down the middle. We literally asked the chat to help us because we could not decide. Chat said slightly favored in Schalke, but what we are seeing
Chat was right.
now,
Chat, you were right.
Chat should have been 90% based on what we've seen, Caedrel. This is absolute domination from Schalke across the board. Again, the only person who was doing okay in the early game was Upset. He was the beneficiary of some of these cross-map plays, but now he's behind in CS. Neon has caught back up. BrokenBlade is only getting more scary, and we are in a situation again where the game is only 19 minutes in, and it already feels like Schalke have won it.
Yeah, and Fnatic are opting into the trap. They're choosing red side. They're early rotating TF. They're leaving last pick for top, but none of it is working. So if Schalke take this game, they really need to go back to drawing board and find something that is working, something with more playmaking, put more playmaking on Upset perhaps, or on top lane, give Bwipo a better counter pick, because Schalke, look at them again, playing on bot side, 3 members strong, the core of Schalke, sorry, with BrokenBlade next to them, and Abbedagge is just sitting in mid, wave clearing. If a fight kicks off, he's going to TP in.
And I think they're just in tempo hell. Like, you saw 3 people grouped up in that mid lane, but if they had even gone for that play, even if Gilius had overcommitted and they had gotten 2 kills, they would have given up an inhibitor tower for it. There's just... They're running out of options of what to do, and Caedrel so often, I feel like, on the cash desk, we're always trying to find, you know, when a team is losing, we're saying, here's how they can come back, here's what they can do, here's where these options are. But there are just so few options for Fnatic right now. We're down to the classic find a pick and pray.
Yeah, I mean, they're around 6k gold down. They don't have any towers to work with. They have to catch waves at their tier 3s in mid and bot at 20 minutes into the game. So the second Schalke pushes the side lane, that's all going all the way to the tier 3 essentially. So someone has to push it out eventually, and Schalke will always have a numbers advantage. So Fnatic need to group up, drop waves, and try and find picks perhaps on Neon, pushing out too far, BrokenBlade or Abbedagge, pushing out too far. And then trying to find picks as Hylissang tries to contest some vision. But again, this could be dangerous.
Hylissang has to be careful here. Blast Cone is there. Knockback comes through. Hylissang, though, just getting cut down. Limit with the interrupt there.
Hylissang, Fnatic have no control of the map. You're stepping up to contest a ward when you're 6k gold down with no vision on the enemy team, and they get punished. Limit, though.
Gold card goes in. That's going to be the support taken down. GPL used just to dissuade any further aggression. That's something. It is just a support, but he did have a shutdown.
He did have a shutdown indeed. So Fnatic managed to find a kill. Overextension there from Limit. Needs to wait for the waves to be pushed out. But you can see Fnatic overgrouping. Look at mid-wave. It's going into the tier 3. No one is there to catch it because Nisqy wants to group up and find picks. He knows if he sits there and farms against Viktor, who's already at 2 items, there's really no way to come back. They need to find some more than just a kill on limit. The punish was good. They need to find more.
And we might be in a situation where BrokenBlade is just straight up going IE third. And that's not, don't get me wrong, that's not uncommon in the build, but sometimes, you know, you stop for a defensive item if you're in a more even state. Sometimes Immortal Shield Bow is not enough, but if this man gets an Infinity Edge before the next team fight, before the next big Drake, because remember, last game, Fnatic were in position for Soul Point. That was one of the reasons that they got to dictate the pace at all, but now they're not even in that position this time around. So as much as this feels like deja vu, it's going way worse for Fnatic.
Yeah, and we talked about it at the start of the cast, Fnatic, if they lose this, and they lose the next game, and they get 3-0'd by Schalke, let's say, they're finishing 5th place. And that hasn't happened since summer 2016.
That's crushing. And we've talked to the players. They say they don't think about the pressure. They're not worried about the big stand. They're just focused on being a good team. They're focused on what is in front of them. But if you're a Fnatic fan, you know, that's the legacy right there.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, the 2016, that was the darkest times you've experienced. When Huni Reignover left, it was a rough year, right? When Caps left, the recovery for Fnatic was fine. They were neck and neck with G2 the entire time. This year, when Reckless left, if this is the year it collapses, that has to hurt.
Yeah, every new era of Fnatic looks good. It looks like they've kept up, even though they've lost core members or MVPs or these star-studded players. They've managed to find formulas that work. But this time around, if they were to lose this series and get knocked out and finish 5th, there's a lot of question marks. Going into summer especially, as Fnatic are starting up a Baron here. There's no vision for Schalke, but the GP ult's gonna stop them. Good identification there from BrokenBlade, knowing that Fnatic not showing on the bot side of the map, no one catching waves, probably just guessing or expecting them to be there, uses the ult to sway it away.
And the good news, again, is you have a lead in. You
Here
can make the picks. The kick flash. That's the Abbedagge going to get taken down. Abbedagge doesn't have the stopwatch up and available. He has no defensive tools left. They're going to take out Abbedagge.
Where's the damage?
Abbedagge does not go down. He's still alive. How does that happen? Upset desperate to get something back. Fnatic desperate to get something back. They bet it all on this play, but what can they do? Upset laying down the Acathian Rain. Abbedagge has a double kill. They started this play on the mid laner. He takes 2 in the process. He walks out alive. Gilius finishes the fight, and Schalke can turn towards the Baron.
Where is Fnatic's damage? The play was good. The initiation was good. Abbedagge gets kicked back into 3 members, but there's no damage follow-up. He doesn't get taken down. Abbedagge gets out. 4 kills for Schalke, and this is going to be a 23-minute Baron.
Absolute domination. 23 minutes in, we almost have a 10k gold lead. It might just shoot up enough. Baron's going to be 1,500. Upset's getting a few jungle camps in the meantime. This is disaster.
So the kick essentially is good, but Selfmade doesn't have any damage anymore because he used his Q. Nisqy used an ult instead of actually just using a stun card because he knows he's going to be kicked into him. And when the stun, the Everfrost, the Q, and the ult attack from Nisqy lands with his E, Abbedagge is still at 20%, 10-20% HP, almost gets finished off by Bwipo. But there really was no damage for Fnatic in that play. They tried to keep the fight going because they need to find something. Schalke's running away. Neon's not here. Let's try to do something. But the turn is not there either because Upset can't go too deep. Neon's already here. Abbedagge is out. And now Fnatic are looking for another play. Hylissang's behind Schalke. I don't think they know he's here, but Selfmade has no flash. He could get caught out here if Schalke look to commit.
That is one fast bear. Selfmade will be slowed up, will kick back, but the rest of the team there to collapse. Luckily, the minion wave means he has a way back out to safety. GP ult, though, again, slowing him down. Limit running forward. That's going to be the catch. Clean sidestep from Selfmade, but just not enough. Neon now unstoppable. And it's just a Schalke montage.
It is a Schalke montage collapsing there. Hylissang does get out. I think he recalled or just kind of ran around there. And Nisqy pushing out the side lane, yes, but Schalke will play on 2 waves. And Nisqy has a Magi's, but when you're so far behind, it just gives you even less tools. If Schalke throw him, perhaps he can get stronger. But first of all, you need to start the fight. Nisqy's basing. They need to defend bot wave. They're going to lose this bot inhib. Abbedagge's pushing in mid. Again, the 1-4 from Schalke from last game. 1 person mid, 4 people bot. Now they're going into the mid inhib. There's no ultimate on BrokenBlade, so if Fnatic can find a fight when Selfmade's up, that's good. But if you lose 2 inhibitors, they're just going to start sieging top.
They're in a position just to end the game right here if they find a fight advantage. Knockup not even going to connect on anybody. Fishing for the Rupture, fishing for the gold card, looking for literally anything if you are the side of Fnatic to bring hope back at this stage of the game. They are 10k down. It is 25 minutes into the game. And again, last game, it was a single mid lane skirmish that felt like it flipped things in favor of Schalke. This game, it has been from start to finish, Schalke domination.
And playing with so much respect as well. You can see from last game as well, they could go on to the end, but they based. They get 2 inhibitors, they base. They're just playing with respect, they're playing calm, and they're playing clinical. So now Schalke can just go mid, buff up the waves, siege top, take tier 2, take tier 3, and Fnatic will eventually have to fight them. I'm not sure why Hylissang's on the bot side of the map here because Schalke are definitely going to play top side. The only thing that's left is the top inhib. So there's no reason for Schalke to go bot side unless they want to catch the wave on tier 2 and then just use TP to join the fight. So Hylissang is going to base, and Fnatic need to find something if they want to hold on in this game.
Caedrel, if we weren't watching it happen, I don't think I would believe in this turn from Schalke. Remember, it was tiebreakers that moved them into 4th position. They were so lucky to be in that position because of earlier results in the season, because of other results that went in their favor to get 4th place. I thought they stood no chance against G2. They took them to 5 games. We thought it'd be close against Fnatic. They are demolishing them. This is the most anime protagonist storyline I have seen in a long time. And it is stunning to see how this entire team has come together in these moments to punish Fnatic. Fnatic, they must be reeling.
Yeah, they must be. I mean, Schalke, the off-season was great. They picked up Limit, they picked up BrokenBlade. They kept the core from the miracle run, we'll call it, last year. And now they're just a staple top 4 team. We've seen it in the regular season. We're seeing it in playoffs. Fnatic, 2 inhibs down. They have to defend this 3rd one. Gilius is going in.
Gunning down. GP ult on the outside, denying the fight. That's going to be a cast moving in. Neon now dominating it. Selfmade off to the side. He manages to land the kick on 3, but Neon just pulling back. Fnatic holding on. They maybe can turn it back. Bwipo finds the silence. There's no creep wave here, so Fnatic hold on to their top lane, but cannot get a greater advantage.
Nisqy getting chunked out a lot there, but so is Schalke. Do they want to stay here? Limit's low. There's the mid wave's coming in. The bot wave's coming in. Upset needs to clear these out, so that gives Schalke time to hit onto this top tier 3. Hylissang's dead. If they drop this top inhib, it's lights out for Fnatic. They need to find an engage. Bwipo's going in. Nisqy's behind them.
Has to go forward, but everyone's just collapsing. Nisqy's going to go in with this gold card, but what can he actually get done? Gold card goes in. There's no follow-up. Selfmade has to run for the hills. Nisqy now just getting run down. BrokenBlade on the chase. Good damage comes in. Upset maybe. Maybe they overcommit. Nisqy alive for now. A lot of good damage going in. Upset has not been spotted quite yet, but he has no ultimate. He has flash for the follow, but Abbedagge just one-shot his mid laner. Double kill for the Viktor, and BrokenBlade and the rest of Schalke can just push in and end the game. There's double supers on the bottom side. I think Schalke have moved up to a match point. Fnatic are lost across the map. Upset can't even get back to his own base. This is domination from start to finish for Schalke as they move up to match point.
Wow. Clinical, clean games from Schalke, winning early game, winning mid game, playing well to extend gold lead, snowballing the game properly, not getting caught out, not disrespecting, playing with respect, and not overextending. Schalke are looking dangerous, and everything Fnatic's throwing at them, the counter picks into top, the TF blind pick, the bot lane takeaways, nothing is working. Fnatic are backs against the wall. They need to find something. They need to go to the drawing board and find something that works for them, whether it's from scrims, whether it's something on stage that's working for Schalke, deny something from them. They need to find a formula in this series.
And when we were prepping for this series, we praised so much Schalke for their preparation of the G2 series. They haven't even had to show us most of their prep yet. They've been in a situation where they essentially got to run their draft back one more time in Fnatic, pick a Volibear instead, and find a Viktor in the mid lane. They are the ones who have had so much tech, so much options to play this out. I don't even think we've seen the start of what they have to bring to the table, whereas Fnatic are I feel like, grasping at straws.
Yeah, and Schalke are the ones with the Darius counter pick, with the Karthus Nocturne. They can dig deep in their bags. They can look for these champion oceans. But right now they're playing clean, they're playing simple, they're playing standard, and it's working. They're outplaying Fnatic in every lane, and they're moving around the map so well. And I think the key factor behind that is Gilius.
Gilius playing like a monster. Do they triple ban him? How do they adjust? What can they do to come back in this series? Coming up next, we're going to take an in-depth look at Schalke's success so far as they have pulled off 2 dominating wins versus Fnatic. Will Game 3 be the last game in this series?
checking your story, telling my eyes away.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, look me in the eye and tell me why this love ain't fair. All up in tug of war, raging on inside. Do you even care if I care? And now I know I'd let you go. If I had to choose, how could I refuse? I should take control every time you call. If I had to choose, I could only lose. Four in the morning, checking your story, turning my eyes away. You still at a party, looking all naughty, got me up wide awake. 5 in the morning, you're drunk and you're calling, telling me you wanna stay. And I'm like, no, no, maybe yeah or no. No, no, maybe yeah or no. 4 in the morning, checking your story, turning my eyes away. You still at a party, looking all naughty, got me up wide awake. 5 in the morning, you're drunk and you're calling, telling me you wanna stay. And I'm like, no, no, maybe yeah or no. No, no, maybe yeah or no. I've been up and down, down and back again, trying to get you out my mind. I've been up and down, found myself again. I'm done with trying to make you mine. And now I know I'd let you go. If I had to choose, how could I refuse? I should take control every time you call. If I had to choose, I could only lose. 4 in the morning, checking your story, turning my eyes away. You still at a party, looking all naughty, got me up wide awake. 5 in the morning, you're drunk and you're calling, telling me you wanna stay. And I'm like, no, no, maybe yeah or no. No, no, maybe yeah or no. 4 in the morning, checking your story, turning my eyes away. You still at a party, looking all naughty, got me up wide awake. 5 in the morning, you're drunk and you're calling, telling me you wanna stay. And I'm like, no, no, maybe yeah or no. No, no, maybe yeah or no.
Welcome back to the LEC studio. Schalke are looking near unstoppable up versus Fnatic, and I want to take a moment to break down a pivotal moment and a trend that we are starting to see from this Schalke roster. Now, this of course is going to be the huge moment in the top lane. We see an all-out brawl go out in this area, and it turns into a Herald later on. So I want to start by breaking down this fight, and if you look at it already here, let me find our mini-map. Boom, we've got it down there. Our minimap, as you can see, there's a lot of pressure moving up towards the top side of the map here. And you'll notice the Bwipo up there, very, very low on the HP bar. So he's in a little bit of trouble as the rest of Schalke come to make this move. Now, things to take note of before we get into this replay very quickly is that BrokenBlade back in base, mid laners as well. No ultimate there for the Twist Fate to come and get involved. So this is why Schalke think, hey, we can go for this fight, even though it is very likely that Selfmade is topside. They know that he's up in that area based on their vision. Bwipo effectively isn't a champion, so Gilius and Limit look for this 2v2 that they know will be a 2v3 very, very soon, because Gilius on this early game Volibear with level 6 is so strong in the early engagements. Limit uses his ultimate to finish off the kill, and then they buy a lot of time with the exhaust, because again, they know that Nisqy has the move towards top lane first. But what they also have is BrokenBlade returning to lane, ready to get involved in this fight. So while Nisqy shows up, Fnatic very quickly realize they don't have the damage to get a lot of work here done. Selfmade very luckily is able to have a little bit of extra time so he can land the Q, and the fight doesn't turn out horribly for Fnatic. But because BrokenBlade showed up at the last second, he becomes a huge winner off of this play and gets a lot of kills off of it. So right there, Schalke have to feel good about themselves, right? They've got the money onto BrokenBlade. They have this very strong scaling composition. It's going to be hard for Fnatic to fight into them anyway. So in these early fights, if they aren't going hard Fnatic's way, well, Schalke have a lot to be happy with. But then you'll notice, as the play continues after Gilius goes back to base, all this topside pressure vision that Fnatic put down is wearing out, and they're going to focus their attention towards the bottom side of the map. Now, throughout the series, Schalke have been focusing topside for Heralds, and Fnatic have been focusing bot side for Drakes. And what this means is that there's always the looming threat of that, Dragon Soul coming later on into the game, and Fnatic got the first 3 Drakes in game 1, they got the first 2 Drakes in this game, but it doesn't matter, because while Fnatic are on the bottom side of the map, going for a play, they get to kill bot side, well, Gilius got Herald. He's going to drop that in mid lane, knock out this turret, and it's bad news as Twisted Fate losing your mid lane turret. Now that wave can be shoved all the way against you. It's harder to find these roam timers, and for Fnatic, again, a team that want to, speed up the game a little bit, play off of their Twisted Fate ultimate, play off of Lee Sin's power in these early skirmishes and looking for side lane fights. Well, if Schalke have your mid lane tower, if Schalke have the gold advantage, because Dragon's giving you, these buffs later on, you're not getting all the gold you get from a Herald and playing for these lane fights. Well, Schalke have the scaling, have the ability to affect you and fight you in the mid game, and Fnatic are just drowned out of a lot of options here. Now, that was a very small amount of time to try and break that down, but we are going to look forward to this next game, a series deciding match up against Fnatic. They must come away with the win.
Yeah, they must, and I love that you highlighted that play, because I think it's easy to fall into the trap of saying these are the mistakes that Fnatic made in draft, these are the mistakes that they made in the game, or what are this. But Zanzarah, you also have to give credit where credit is due, being that Schalke and FLICKR have seemed to have a really clear game plan of how they want to take Fnatic down.
Yeah, but so far actually for me it's like Schalke drafting for Schalke advantage and Fnatic drafting for Schalke advantage for some reason. Every 2 game what we saw, Gilius getting on first pick, the best junglers in the meta, top 1, and Selfmade trying to I don't know what he's trying to do, picking all of tier 2 or even tier 3 champion. Lee Sin is you don't see him ever, and I'm not sure, the same way, for example, they're putting a lot of focus on getting counter-pick top lane. They get Lulu first time into GP, second time they pick Cho'Gath, and BrokenBlade feels super comfortable on top lane. He's winning in CS. He's actually forcing Flash 1v1. This is strange for me to see.
Yeah, I think that is a great point as we look at that top lane. We talked about it a little before and in rehearsal as well, I think. When you look at kind of both their trajectories, these are both top laners that can come out with a fringe pick, with a pick that can turn a game completely on its head. But for Bwipo, it just hasn't worked out so far.
Yeah, I think we've seen it in both laning phases. The lane is quite close, and BrokenBlade a couple of times has won out on these trades very nearly. But Bwipo should have had a solo kill in this game. I believe he canceled an auto E'd the wrong direction. That made him just shy of having that all-in threat, because the way this matchup works is early levels, right? GP pokes you with Q. He has his burn on his passive that does a lot of good work in the 1v1, and then at level 6, you have kill threat either in the 1v1 with Cho'Gath or if you get your jungler involved. Problem is, the 1v1 was mis-executed, didn't get the solo kill, and then when the jungler came topside, so did all of Schalke. So Schalke have just had better responses, and Bwipo hasn't been able to carve out strong enough individual advantage.
Yeah, we don't want to just isolate the one player on the team. It does seem that Schalke and FLICKR as a whole is just much more proactive and feeling where the game is going before Fnatic necessarily knows it. A big part of that is always the jungler. Zanzarah, Gilius had an okay split. I think he had some great games. I think he wasn't always on top of the scoreboard or on top of the games in the early game, but in the last weeks he has been, and he's just been playing very, very well this series. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think Gilius just reading them like a book. He's always when he is supposed to be. He's covering laners. He's doing much more than Selfmade in early game. I think mostly it comes just because of the jungle matchups. In both games, he had a bad jungle matchup, and Selfmade can't really contest him in early game before 6. And but Gilius, props to him. He used it pretty well. He got advantage on top lane, and he secured a better early game for his team.
I think, Ender, you kind of describe him as a feast or famine jungler. If it goes his way, it all goes his way. In the game, you just don't have a chance. But it can also go the other way. For now, though, it's all coming up Gilius. And let's talk about the win conditions then and the possibilities. Do you want to talk about Fnatic first? Since they are against that match point for Schalke, what do they have to do to bring this back?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I need them to not do, pretty much, and I'm going to start with that, because I think like Caedrel had a really good point coming after the first game, where it's like their composition just lacked so much damage, running a Lulu in the top lane, Twist Fate in mid lane. Like, Twist Fate does not pump out a ton of DPS in team fights, and I think we've seen 2 games now where Schalke have the definite superior scaling advantage, and then Fnatic don't even have like concrete laning advantages. Bwipo, BrokenBlade has been getting some pretty decent lanes off with Gangplank on the top side. I think you have to deal with that either with a ban or with a better counterpick, a stronger jungler, because staying on red side, Fnatic are always going to be getting, it seems like, the weaker jungler if they continue to ban out junglers. But even in this last game, they put 2 bans on the jungle. They banned the Hecarim and the Udyr, and it still wasn't enough to get a win there.
I get the cue, I have to go to break, but they did choose blue side for this next game, Fnatic. So maybe they saw the light and they're going to go for something else. We'll see. Fnatic are facing elimination here in round 2 of playoffs as Schalke are on match point. Game 3 is coming up next. Don't you miss it.